tensions between Iran and Israel have once again erupted into the global spotlight. What began as another round of warnings and military posturing has now evolved into a dangerous cycle of missile strikes, air defense interceptions, and growing fears of a wider regional war. Across the Middle East, governments are watching closely. Military analysts are issuing urgent assessments. And ordinary civilians, from Tel Aviv to Tehran, are bracing for what might come next. For decades, the rivalry between Iran and Israel has played out mostly in the shadows. Covert operations, cyber attacks, proxy wars, and intelligence battles defined the confrontation. But today, the confrontation is no longer hidden. Missiles, drones, and open threats have pushed the conflict into a far more visible and volatile phase. At the center of the current escalation are missile attacks that have triggered air raid sirens in multiple Israeli cities. Residents have rushed into bomb shelters. Airports have temporarily halted operations. And the Israeli military has activated its layered air defense systems in response to the incoming threats. Israel's air defense network is considered one of the most sophisticated in the world. The most well-known component is the Iron Dome system. Designed to intercept short-range rockets and artillery shells, Iron Dome has played a central role in protecting Israeli cities during previous conflicts. Radar systems detect incoming projectiles, calculate their trajectory, and determine whether they are likely to hit populated areas. If they are deemed dangerous, interceptor missiles are launched to destroy them in mid-air. Over the years, Iron Dome has intercepted thousands of rockets. Its success rate has often been reported to be extremely high, and it has become a symbol of Israel's defensive capability. However, no defense system is perfect. When multiple projectiles are launched simultaneously, or when missiles arrive from different directions, the system can be overwhelmed. This is where the complexity of modern warfare becomes clear. Iran's missile strategy is not based on a single strike. Instead, it relies on saturation tactics. By launching multiple missiles and drones at the same time, the goal is to force defense systems to respond to too many threats at once. Iran has invested heavily in missile technology over the past 2 decades. Despite international sanctions and pressure, its missile program has expanded in both range and sophistication. Iranian ballistic missiles are capable of traveling hundreds, and in some cases thousands, of kilometers. Some of these missiles are designed to carry large payloads, while others focus on speed and maneuverability to evade interception. Iran also places strong emphasis on drones. Unmanned aerial vehicles have become a key part of its military strategy. They can be launched in large numbers, they are relatively inexpensive compared to traditional missiles, and they can fly at low altitudes that make them harder to detect. From Iran's perspective, these capabilities are essential for deterrence. Iranian officials often argue that their missile arsenal is purely defensive. They claim it exists to prevent attacks against Iranian territory and to respond to threats from regional rivals. Israel, however, views the situation very differently. Israeli leaders have repeatedly warned that Iran's missile program represents a major security threat. The concern is not only about the missiles themselves, but also about the possibility that advanced weapons could be transferred to allied groups across the region. Groups such as Hezbollah in Lebanon and various armed factions in Syria and Iraq are often mentioned in Israeli security discussions. The fear in Israel is that these networks could coordinate attacks from multiple fronts, creating a complex battlefield that stretches far beyond a single border. This possibility is one reason Israel has conducted numerous airstrikes in Syria over the past several years. Israeli officials say these operations are aimed at preventing the transfer of advanced weapons and stopping Iranian military infrastructure from taking root near Israel's northern frontier. Each strike carries risks. Every military action increases the chance of retaliation. And each retaliation raises the temperature of an already tense region. The current escalation reflects this cycle. Missile launches lead to air defense interceptions. Interceptions are followed by military alerts and counter-operations. Diplomatic statements quickly follow, but the military dimension remains the most visible. Beyond the immediate battlefield, the crisis is drawing the attention of global powers. The United States has long been Israel's closest military ally. Washington provides significant defense assistance, including funding for systems like Iron Dome. American officials often emphasize Israel's right to defend itself, while also urging restraint to avoid a broader war. At the same time, the United States maintains a complex relationship with Iran. Years of negotiations over Iran's nuclear program have been marked by breakthroughs and breakdowns. Sanctions, diplomatic talks, and regional security concerns all intersect in this complicated relationship. Meanwhile, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization alliance is also watching developments carefully. While NATO as an alliance is not directly involved in the conflict, several member states have strong interests in Middle Eastern stability. Escalation could affect global energy markets, maritime security, and international trade routes. European leaders have repeatedly called for de-escalation. Their concern is that a direct and prolonged conflict between Iran and Israel could ignite wider instability across the Middle East. The Middle East remains one of the most strategically important regions in the world. It sits at the crossroads of energy production, global shipping routes, and competing geopolitical interests. Any conflict that threatens stability in this region inevitably attracts international attention. Another factor complicating the situation is the role of regional actors. Countries across the Gulf are closely monitoring events. Some have improved relations with Israel in recent years, while others maintain complex diplomatic ties with Iran. These shifting alliances create a delicate balance. Governments must navigate domestic opinion, security concerns, and diplomatic relationships simultaneously. Inside Israel, the psychological impact of missile alerts cannot be ignored. Sirens that send civilians rushing to shelters are a stark reminder of the country's security challenges. For many families, the routine of daily life can be interrupted in seconds by the sound of an alarm. Schools conduct emergency drills. Residential buildings are equipped with reinforced rooms. Entire communities are trained to respond quickly to incoming threats. On the Iranian side, the narrative focuses on resistance and strategic strength. Iranian state media often highlights the country's missile capabilities as proof of national resilience despite decades of sanctions and international pressure. These competing narratives reflect deeper political realities. For Israeli leaders, demonstrating strong defense capabilities reassures the public and deterrs adversaries. For Iranian authorities, showcasing military strength reinforces the message that the country cannot be easily pressured or isolated. Yet beneath these narratives lies a shared risk. Military escalation can quickly move beyond the control of political leaders. History offers many examples where limited strikes led to larger confrontations. A miscalculation, an accident, or a misinterpreted signal can transform a tense standoff into a full-scale conflict. Military analysts often describe this as the escalation ladder. Each step upward represents a more intense level of confrontation. Once the process begins, stepping back down becomes increasingly difficult. The international community is therefore closely watching every development. Diplomats are engaging in quiet conversations behind closed doors. Security councils are holding emergency briefings. Intelligence agencies are monitoring troop movements and missile deployments. The central question remains the same. Is the current escalation a temporary flare-up, or the beginning of a much larger confrontation? For now, both sides appear to be balancing between demonstration and restraint. Missile launches send a message. Defensive interceptions send another. Political statements attempt to shape the global narrative. But the situation remains fragile. In the modern era, conflicts are not fought only on battlefields. They unfold in the information space as well. Images of intercepted missiles lighting up the night sky spread quickly across social media. Videos of sirens and explosions travel across the world in seconds. Public perception can influence political decisions. Leaders must consider not only military outcomes, but also how events are interpreted domestically and internationally. For millions of people across the region, the hope is that the current crisis will eventually give way to diplomacy rather than further violence. The Middle East has seen many conflicts over the decades, and each one has left lasting consequences. Whether this latest escalation will follow a familiar pattern of tension and de-escalation, or whether it signals a new and more dangerous phase in regional geopolitics, remains uncertain. What is clear is that the stakes are extremely high. The coming days and weeks will likely reveal whether cooler heads prevail, or whether the cycle of retaliation continues to intensify. For now, the world is watching closely as events unfold between Iran and Israel, aware that any further escalation could reshape the security landscape of the Middle East and beyond. We invite you to share your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. If you found this video informative or valuable, please consider giving it a like and sharing it with your friends and family. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. Your support means a lot to us, and we sincerely appreciate it.